Hi, it's Marta, the business healer. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about the backstory behind what it is that I do and why I do it. So, I do business healing, and a lot of people have questions about what that means. I'll tackle that in another video. But for now, I just want to share with you, how did I become the business healer? So I'm a classically trained professional musician, and in music school, within the first couple of weeks, I had a friend who was a pranic healer. And this friend invited me to come to a meditation. I didn't really know what that means. I didn't know what would happen, but it sounded like something that I would be interested in doing. I felt very spiritually connected my whole life, but not necessarily through religious angles. But I liked the idea of sitting in contemplation. So we got on a bus and went to New Jersey to a hotel ballroom in the middle of the Meadowlands. There were a whole bunch of people there, and the teacher started teaching. And the teacher is my spiritual teacher, Master Choa. That was the moment that I met him for the very first time. And I was really struck by what he was saying, because at that point, as a young music student, I had a lot of feelings, and I had experienced a lot of rejection, a lot of shame, a lot of criticism, and I was pretty judgy. I was pretty judgmental at that point in my life. And when he said, "You are not the body, you're not the emotions, you're not the thoughts," that was very new information for me. And I remember thinking, what does that even mean? And it was just different information. And I remember it really struck me that I was more than my thoughts and my feelings and my body. But that was something that had never occurred to me before. So I listened and I thought, this is cool. All right, we can do this. And then we did a meditation. I didn't really know what to expect, but I felt energy. I felt things flowing through my hands. And I was blessing the earth with loving kindness. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then when the meditation ended, I felt things. I experienced colors. I had a bit of an awakening, and that was very surprising. That was very surprising. And I remember I had the opportunity to meet Master Choa afterwards. My friend's like, "Do you want to meet the teacher?" And I said, "Of course." Like, I'm speechless. I'm feeling all this energy. I feel like I've had a new experience in my life. I felt a sense of peace and a sense that there is more than just my physical experience. So I meet the teacher, and he's wonderful, but he doesn't say much to me. I remember being like so eager to make an impression, and he just kind of looked at me. He looked above my head. He's kind of like, okay, you're going to be okay. And I didn't really know what that meant at the time. I feel like I have a much better idea of what was actually happening when he was there with me. But I really loved that he told me I would be okay, because in so many ways in my life at that time, I didn't feel like I was going to be okay. I didn't feel like I was okay. And I had no sense in the future that things would be brighter than they were. I had to keep hoping, but it really helped me a lot when he told me I was going to be okay. So then my friend said, "There's a whole healing modality that you can learn. Do you want to learn to heal? We use the same energy that you were feeling, but we use it to heal people." And I said, "Yeah, I want to do that." So I got really involved in healing. I took the first couple of courses in pranic healing, and I just loved it. I was meditating every day. I was feeling energy. I was living in New York City at the time. There's a lot of energy in New York City. So I was having a really interesting experience, which was not just a physical experience, but a spiritually awakening me, going through the subway, seeing how people are living their lives, and having access to this new sense of my possibility and to the way that the world works, which is not just the world of our senses, but the world of energy. And I was really enjoying that a lot. So I got really involved. My friend and I set up a meditation group at our school, and we got other people to join, but it was really, really helpful. These practices and this meditation really helped me a lot, because I was doing performance. So 2-3 times a week, I was on stage performing for somebody, for an audience. And if you've ever heard of performance anxiety, that's a thing that a lot of people experience. So it helped me so much with the clarity of my mind, being able to focus. Music is a very focused thing. If you're a classical musician, there's a lot you have to pay attention to. So you have to be very, very focused. And that's what's happening around you, what's happening with the person in front of you, conductor, what's happening in your section of instruments. You have to pay attention to a lot, and then you have to play your instrument, and then you have to match the dynamics and play the notes on the page at the right time, at the right level of softness or loudness. There's a lot of layers. But what I loved about it is we use these pranic healing techniques to heal ourselves before we went on stage, to heal the conductor, to put good energy on the stage, just clean the stage of any sort of extraneous energy. And I had a different experience in music school because I had access to these principles, to these techniques. So, and it was really fun to do with my friend. So I graduated and I was very serious about orchestra music. So I envisioned myself having an orchestral career. And then my friend moved away. She completed her degree and she moved away, and we kind of lost touch. And at that point, I was really serious. I had the opportunity, very, very fortunate opportunity to be a substitute with the New York Philharmonic for a concert cycle. And I realized when I entered the stage that that was not going to be for me. I was like, ooh, this is my dream come true, and I don't think I can do this. I don't think this is what I want to do, which is a very privileged thing to say. But the reason is I was so attuned to how energy felt, and I did not like the energy that I felt in that context. It's connected via the music, but there's so many layers of knowing you have to be perfect and you're being judged by a perfect standard based on recordings and the amazing people around you. So I felt pretty disconnected from my power in that situation. And it just felt like I was walking into something that would be an unhappy career for me. And at that point, nobody was doing Reiki. People weren't even really doing yoga regularly. It was kind of a niche kind of thing. So I was like, I love this healing stuff, but I don't really think this is going to get me a job. So I put it on the shelf. And throughout my life, again, I was always doing this meditation called Meditation on Twin Hearts, which is one of the gifts of my teacher, Master Choa. So I would do Twin Hearts. I would do that even regularly wherever I moved, because I was moving a lot, either places within New York City or then eventually to DC and then eventually to Miami. And anytime I could, there was a full moon meditation where I would join the Center for Pranic Healing in New Jersey. They would offer a live stream meditation at the full moon, and I would do that as many months as possible, joining from wherever I could. But I wasn't really healing, and I wasn't really considering that part of my life as anything other than just an occasional meditation. And okay, I was practicing the prosperity practice. I think there is a reason that for some reason I was chosen to play with the New York Philharmonic, because energy works and this prosperity technique works. But I didn't really feel like healing would be a career for me. So I put it on the shelf. Then I was in Miami and I had a couple of different jobs, and I was working someplace where I met somebody who said, how do you know this person, called Master Marilag Mendoza? And I said, oh, I used to do this thing, kind of, I guess it sounds a little weird, but it's called pranic healing. And I don't really do that anymore. And that person said to me, oh, well, I just took the basic pranic healing course. And I said, I really hadn't expected to meet anybody ever again in my life who was involved in pranic healing, but there they were, and they invited me to come back. So I took a bunch more courses. This is 2018, so this is a good decade after I had kind of left. So eventually, here I was. I start back on the healing path, taking more classes, and then my friend says, you're doing Twin Hearts every day. You are much more into your healing journey. Why don't you start this spiritual practice called Arhatic Yoga? Arhatic Yoga is the spiritual offshoot of pranic healing. Master Choa designed the spiritual practice to be practical for the modern person, because they're not going to go off and be on an ashram somewhere. They're business people, they're modern people. So it synthesizes many of these different kinds of yoga into one that the modern person can practice in the Western world. So I started on that route, and I graduated just before the global pandemic hit. So all of a sudden I had all of these different skills, and I had started my business in 2019 full time. I had used energy work on myself, because I don't know how people start businesses if they don't believe in something higher, because I think without that, what are you doing? Like, What are you betting on? How do you know you're going to be safe? So for me, I invoked all of the help I possibly could get. I used my prosperity techniques, and I used the techniques of pranic healing on myself and on my business. So I decided to show up and be generous. And during the pandemic, my business actually grows. My last full-time job, many of the staff were furloughed. So I just felt really grateful and like I was being guided and blessed to be in a place where I was growing my business and also being of help and service. And then 2 years later, my business doubled again. So it doubled in the first 2 years and then it doubled again. And at that point I said, I think I'm onto something. I used energy work on my clients, on the work that I was doing for them. So I wanted all of the blessings to reach all of the people that I was working with and to make them prosperous and to make their clients prosperous and to make their beneficiaries prosperous. I raised about $27 million in about 6 years for a handful of clients, maybe 6 or 7. And it really worked, right? And I'm really grateful for that. And then 2023, I realized this is the time. So I changed my name to the Business Healer. I received that after a meditation that felt very powerful. And when I told my clients, the coaching clients, I'm going to change the nature of our work from just talking to coaching and healing. If that's not your thing, totally understand, no problem. But everybody decided that they wanted to give it a try. So that's what we did. I was still consulting, but I was really focusing on honing my practice. What do we do? How do we do it? How do we talk about it? What are our proof points? So I did that pretty quietly. And then it became time to focus on building this business itself. So that's what I've been doing since March of 2023. And I've met and worked with so many amazing people. And what do? I'll explain that in another video. But I'm so grateful to those clients who decided to take the leap with me into healing and coaching. And to this day, I continue to find myself meeting people who are open to energy, who understand that energy can be a business tool, and who are ready to let go of some of the subconscious and unconscious pain, limitations, and blocks that they've been experiencing. It's not something that when people walk out and about in public, they're thinking, I have these limiting beliefs that I would love to get rid of. But they see patterns where they've been stuck, or they don't feel so great and they don't know why, or they're aware that they have a habit of mind that's not healthy for them, but they don't really know how to stop it. And so usually I show up and I say, do you want to do a complimentary session? Do you want to explore more and see if I can help? And people are interested in learning. They feel differently. They see things differently. They experience a transformation of some sort. And then they want to know what it's like to work with me or how I work. So that's my process now. I usually meet with people and create transformation. And I do this because generosity is part of my business. Karmically, that tracks with what my values are and the way that I envision my business. And sometime I'll tell you about why I'm generous with my business, because I know that's not necessarily a standard business practice. And if anything, I've been encouraged not to do that by some people who are very experienced in business. But sometime I'll come on here and I'll talk about why spiritually that makes sense for me and why I do it and the effects that have happened because I do it. So that's my journey into becoming the business healer. And the last 12 months, I've really leaned into prosperity because I see really, really fantastic people who feel like they're not worthy or really struggle with the idea that they're meant for something more and they're a little scared to go after it, but they don't know how to do that. And so I've been doing group work and I've been doing individual work. And it's so joyful. It's so joyful to help people work through things that they have been holding, either from parents or family or other lived experiences they may have encountered, but to be free from or notice you have a different relationship to beliefs that you used to have. That's what I love to do. Transformation is what I stand for, and transformation is what I do. And I feel grateful every day that this is indeed a job. Like, I get paid full time to do this work. And I'm so thankful to Master Choa for being my teacher, for guiding me, and for all of the people in my life who have been not only open to this thing, which to me felt scary to say in public that I was going to do this, but who have taken the chance on me and who have invested in me and who have been there cheerleading for me. I was so afraid to become the business healer because I did not want to be seen as not serious. I was petrified of being seen as less than, as being weird, or as being somebody who wasn't really grounded, right? I work a lot with small business owners. I am a small business owner, and I know what goes into doing something that didn't exist before, creating something. I think that takes an immense amount of courage, and I really, really respect it. So having healed my business and healing myself, that's what I do for others and is the most joyful career possible. I'm so thankful that my journey went where it went, how it went, and that I found my way back to healing. I found my way back to Master Choa, and that the meditation on Twin Hearts is now a part of my everyday practice and an everyday part of my business. So if you have any questions about what it was like for me to start a business that ended up being a healing business, if you are thinking of starting a healing business and you're not sure what to do or you're feeling scared about it, I totally relate. Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested in hearing what's on your minds. I also want to know what's coming to mind for you. If you thought about healing your business, what do you think that would entail? What do you think that would be like? And if you have any questions about what that looks like for my clients, definitely leave it in the comments. If this is content that is useful to you, I want to know about it so I can keep creating more of this. So like this video, comment, subscribe. It really helps support the channel. I haven't done this really talking about me, but I thought it would be helpful because I am the reason my business is what it is. And I know there are a lot of people who are so much more open and interested in healing, so much more open and interested in incorporating energy into their business as a tool. And I don't see a whole lot of people doing that. So I'm down to talk about it. Tell me what your questions are. Tell me what your challenges are. I'd really love to hear. So that's it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Atma Namaste, and may you be super, super prosperous.